seconds. Yeah, we'll come back.
This is taking way longer than I think.
This is great.
Oh man. Why can't we do this right now? Like, what is happening?
Just let it out.
Just
let it out.
It's been a while.
What's up, guys? I'm Random Frank P.
I'm Andy.
I'm Billy.
I'm John.
And welcome back to the podcast. As of right now, because we rarely do this, so this is a very rare podcast. Last time we did this was like 2 Aprils ago, back when I had like 120,000 subscribers. So odds are you're probably new to this because we're over like 530,000 now.
Oh my god.
And you might not know that we do this because it rarely ever happens. We want to do it more frequently. I want to say this episode or this podcast is sponsored by Blue Apron. We'll talk more about that towards, in a little bit. But the first 100 people to use the link in the description down below, if you sign up, you get your first 3 meals for free. But yeah, we'll talk about that more in a minute.
That's it.
Our first name that we kind of come up with, and we've been doing this for a long time, just really not like on camera and stuff, was Random Radio Show. So I'm going to throw a little call to you guys. Think of a good name for this podcast. Put it in the comment section because we're dying for a good name. And if we get some good stuff going, you guys like it, we could try to do it more frequently. But yeah, so tech podcast, go over all things, casual banter. We've been all friends for a long time. Like,
Oh yeah.
I've known Billy since 1st grade, Andy since 4th, and John since 3rd. So we've been friends for a long time.
Damn.
But yeah, just casual talks. Hope you guys enjoy this kind of stuff. But the first thing I want to talk about, Destiny 2 beta.
Destiny 2 beta.
I wasn't really big into the first game. I didn't play it all too much, and that was like when the story mode was just kind of bleh.
Yeah.
I know they had a lot of like DLC and stuff that came out that kind of like made that better and stuff.
It fixed a lot of just like the core content issues of what made the game like way too time consuming with like no return on your investment, which is really frustrating. And especially like Frank, you were in college at the time.
Yeah, it came
going
out
into your senior year.
Yeah, my senior year. So I played it like the first week, and I was like, all right, this is cool. But then like the semester started picking up, and I kind of played it less. And then I just kind of fell out of it because, like I said, the story mode didn't really like grasp me,
Yeah, to keep up with it in year one from like an economic standpoint of the game, it was just not fun. It was not.
Yeah, I had hopped into it only for a little while. I think I quit before the first expansion came out. Which was that Taken King or?
First expansion was 3 months into. If we're talking about like the serial expansions, you had that was within the first year. So yeah, if you stop playing within the first 3 months, year 2 things got a lot better. Yeah. That was when the Taken King came out, and that was like the big like year long. Like they fixed like pretty much every core content issue from a gameplay standpoint. Still not, narratively strong, but it was pretty dang cool. And then year 3 they went and did the whole House of Wolves, or not House of Wolves. I'm sorry. The Iron Banner based one. I can't think of the name right now. But that was really cool too, and they added more subclasses and such.
Nice.
Was that year 3 or 2? I don't know. It's all blended together into this like just soup can of Destiny.
So what do you think about the beta? Because that just came out. I know we all played it yesterday. And it looks pretty. I think we all agree on that.
It's very pretty.
But in terms of like changing it up,
nicer.
Yeah. In terms of like changing things up, again, they didn't need to change it too much because they want to stick to their roots. But I don't know if it's because I played a lot of. This is the thing. I was so pumped for Destiny when it came out, and I played it, and I was like, eh. Yeah. Because that summer before, I played a lot of Mass Effect.
Right.
I was real pumped for Mass Effect Andromeda. Played it, and I was like, eh, because it reminded me a lot of Destiny. So it's like these 2 games I was so pumped for remind me of each other, but it's just like, well, this feels familiar.
Yeah.
So, the beta came out, I played it, I felt like it was just okay. But that's just me. That's just me.
Aside from being like completely different styles of games, first person, third person, adventure, subpar MMO, the gameplay between them, the aesthetic is where they kind of like merged visually, and that's like, where I can understand you get that kind of like bleh out of the 2 games. Where I hope they go with it story-wise is a little more direct into the explanation of now this world that you've lived in for 3 years, and expand on that and actually make it like a cohesive, like living element that you can enjoy. Because if you're not connected to the world, you're not going to want to play and explore and do all that. But you're probably more inclined to if you played the game more first the couple years. That's why I'm still excited for it, and I've been invested in that. But for yourself, like, what do you think? Like, do you have any like hype for it? Or are you hopeful in a way?
No hype right now.
Not at all.
No hype.
I agree.
But I mean, like, if my friends pick it up, everyone's playing it, maybe I'll hop on, try it out. Because I know you guys played together for a while, and that seemed cool.
Yeah.
But it's just when I played, everyone else was playing online all the time, crazy far ahead. Because I know I played with you and Doobie a few times online, and it was just I'm getting destroyed, and you guys are carrying everything.
All the environmental stuff that you would do, or PvE elements, that's something you need to try to keep up with. And if you didn't complete all the story missions and do all the other content, it was really hard to be on par. But you could always jump into any Crucible match that wasn't competitive and still hold your own because of just how the balance was.
Yeah.
Which was the other thing about the Destiny 2 beta that I felt they took way too far in the opposite direction from the first game.
I have not played the beta yet.
Okay.
So what kind of gameplay do you even touch upon in the beta? Is it PvP?
You get PvE, you get a strike. So
Okay.
it opens up with a story mission that kind of introduces you to what's going on, shows you the main villain, and sets up basically, I guess, the goals of what you're trying to do. You'll see it if you play it. It's free to download at the moment. Then you have a quick play control game type, which is similar and familiar with some minor changes. A competitive game type, which is more like a search and destroy plus elimination from Call of Duty, you commonly see. One team has to go plant a bomb, and you have two options to go to. And then the other thing you can do is you can do a strike.
Okay, cool.
So,
Yeah, so my biggest concern with Destiny 2 is kind of, you're saying all the mechanics are really tight, and of course, because they always have been.
Oh, yeah.
My biggest concern is everything that kind of ties the different game types together.
right.
So PvP was always great. The strikes were always really good. The story missions are okay. They're all kind of just run straight and shoot, and there's a stronger enemy at the end of it.
Yeah.
So there's no depth really in there. But everything was tied together by going to a planet, running through an empty planet to a point where
Exactly.
your rail shooters started.
Yeah.
So I feel like they can really expand on making it an open world.
Yeah. That's
You had mentioned how instead of having instances for each planet or each social zone, it's one seamless thing. So all of a sudden you're on Earth somewhere, and then you just walk into the social space. Then all of a sudden there's a bunch of other players there, and you can buy things, and you don't have to shoot anymore. More like an MMO, like WoW or something. I think that would be a really cool world thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they could still keep fast travel.
For sure.
Oh,
If
absolutely.
you didn't want to run.
And that's in every that's just a time management efficiency thing that should be in pretty much every game. But if it does need that connection where you could go from one zone to another, with the exceptions of maybe planets, because it makes sense to fly in a spaceship and go somewhere. But on Earth, if you're just in an open area and there's stuff to do and there's different camps, and you get a quest from somebody and you actually go out into the world and do it, as opposed to just click on a mission or something, I think that would really make it feel like the place is more lived in as opposed to occupied.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's yeah.
It comes out soon, doesn't it? Is it September?
It comes out in September. Yeah,
Okay.
September 9th, I believe. 2017.
So the game is done.
Yeah,
That beta
pretty
is just
much.
a teaser.
They just need to, for the competitive stuff and for just the multiplayer gameplay, it is slower, significantly slower paced. They're focusing on more the squad element, I guess, again, where team play and focus firing. So similar to how like a Halo 3 or something like that would play, where you team fire a guy down and he's pretty much done. But if you 1v1 someone, it's going to take a bit of time. So if you get outnumbered, there isn't going to be any more of that. Oh, well, let me run over and shotgun this guy and then spin around and pulse rifle another dude. And they've taken the balance to auto rifles are specific to their class and what they beat within range, and the trade-offs and rock paper scissors thing they have going on through the various weapons, I think, is in a good spot. Just the time to kill is so long.
Right.
At least for me, I don't know. I like the quicker gameplay because
Is there regen in Destiny? Are there health packs? Are there?
So yeah, you have a shield
Okay.
now standard, and then you have your health regen, but all the cooldowns are really slow. Billy, you were playing the beta. You did the first mission because I was like, here, try this. And when you threw your grenade, it didn't come back.
3 minutes for it to come back. Or that's what it felt like. It
picked
felt
up- yeah.
super long. Yeah.
You picked up 8 super orbs, which would straight up give you your super in the first game, and he had a third of his bar.
Wow.
Right there, and it was wow, that was kind of whatever.
And they showed a lot of gameplay off at E3, which we were all texting live during it and stuff, getting reactions. As someone who was like kind of shifting away from playing a lot of games, like what did you think of it? Like, did anything like get your attention? Anything to be interesting?
Of E3?
Yeah.
I thought the new Metro game looked really cool just because it was really pretty.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a cool game. I don't know if that was actually gameplay. It was hard to tell.
I think it was half and half.
Yeah. So I thought that looked cool, but I'd like to see some like real gameplay before like really being hyped on it.
That's one thing E3 is notorious for. Like they say it's gameplay, but
it's pre-rendered kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I can't remember what else was exciting. I remember that was cool.
The one game from, I think, was it BioWare? Where it was like, it kind of again reminded me of Destiny, but like you're like flying around this like crazy like
your big
cryo
Iron Man
suit.
Yeah. Oh, that's from EA.
That's from EA?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what studio's doing that, I forget. But that looked really cool.
It did look cool. I don't remember the name right now, but yeah, that's one thing that, because they were showing that off when they announced the Xbox One, or the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Right.
It's called the Scorpio.
I think for me, because it was the new console reveal year, I was looking for like really visually impressive games, and the only two were like Metro and that one.
Yeah.
I feel like there were a lot of like indie titles, like what's the pirate one, like World of Pirates or something like.
The big comic one.
Yeah, which actually looks kind of fun. Yeah, it looks kind of fun, but in terms of like power, I was like, not showing off a new console super well. But
right.
Man, I can't remember anymore. I mean that
kind of
shows its like staying power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I felt the same way. There was very few titles. I mean, even with, like you said, the Xbox One X reveal, they showed off like 2 or 3 like main games. You know, it was like AAA games, and the rest like hour and a half was all like indie games.
Yeah.
It's like if you're showing off this new powerful console, like show it off in like ways where we can like get impressed by it. Don't show off things that can be run on a 360. And I feel like a lot of the games there, like we were saying back and forth, like this looks like it could be run on a 360 right now. Like it looks worse than that, some of the games. But again, that's kind of like for most indie games, they're not going for graphics and stuff.
Yeah, they usually an indie game has some sort of like art style that they're trying to achieve and pulling that off well. And I think where their strong suit in that is that stylistic behavior and like cult following that those games end up like having. Like a game I'm trying to play and I haven't played it yet, but like Ori and the Blind Forest or like any of those like Ubisoft like art framework games are awesome. I just love the aesthetic of it and the sharpness, the range of color. That's all. I love that. Like it makes you feel like you are now not immersed isn't the right word, but
I can't remember the name of this one.
It sucks you in.
But now that you're mentioning like the colors and the art style, there was one game where it's like this pixel art, but the colors are like
I don't know the name of that.
And the animations looked really cool. It was during the Xbox conference.
Yeah.
It was like some sort of like futuristic sci-fi side-scrolling like pixel art game.
Cool.
That was like number 1 on my list, like just because of the art style. It was so unique.
I think that's what we see now more so with the games in general is just the composition of what's happening on screen has gotten a lot better, whether it's fuller or more filled. Because you look back at like 360 games, you look at like Call of Duty 4 even, like that felt like it had like a lot of stuff happening and going on screen. But even if you move to Modern Warfare 2 or like any one of the newer Call of Duties that's come out, the maps, like they're way more dense with stuff. Like people were like, oh, Fallout 3 feels so barren and like wasteful, and that works on like you can make that happen on a 360. That's fine. And that's why probably Fallout 4 they like held off to tell that Boston storyline until later. Boston is a city. It's really dense. So that map didn't feel big. It just Fallout 4 felt tall to me, which I thought was kind of cool because you could go through skyscrapers and then come out the top and you're like, you can see the whole city. It's like, that's cool. That was fun for me. And I think that's what the power of these new consoles is getting you is you're not only just spreading out and filling that world, but now you're like lifting it up and giving it physically more depth.
One thing that really impressed me in terms of the Xbox One X was the price point, like $500 for that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's
because
impressive.
if you're looking at building a PC that could run 4K 60 FPS, like it says it can do, now a lot of it's not like true 4K.
Yeah, depending on the game, but
right. But if you want to build something comparable, you're looking at around like 650 and up.
Yeah.
And everyone in the past has been like console bashing because you can build like a crazy PC for half the price of a console. But now it's starting to catch up. But again, the whole thing with it not being like a true 4K,
Yeah.
There's kind of like a gray space there because with graphics cards, obviously you can also do that. But even now with like there's this whole thing going on. It's kind of slowing down now, but there was this one like mineral mining thing going on with graphics cards where prices were skyrocketing like $200-$300 like aftermarket increase. Wow. So I mean now you could still kind of build a comparable PC for around like I said like around $700, but the fact that they can pull that off in this small form factor for $500 I think is pretty impressive.
That's pretty sweet.
Now again, the game they showed off for that was Forza Motorsport.
Yep.
Not an open world game.
Right.
So yes, I can probably do that because it's this closed in map that they have like a little track and stuff. And the thing is, yes, again with the PC you can probably do that, but I doubt it's going to run the Xbox One X is going to run 60 frames consistently.
Right.
So again, you can do that with a PC if you're dipping to like 48 every now and then or something.
Yep.
So as of right now, because it's still really early, there are specs out there, but until you have it and you can see what's going on, there's a lot of gray area, but the price is still pretty good.
And that's the thing about like console versus PC that I've always still had a console. For one, it's the type of games that you're gonna get, but from a performance standpoint, it is a machine that is dedicated to doing one specific job, and that is gaming.
Yeah.
So that whole operating system, the engines that they use, and everything is built around this consistent hardware spec. Mm-hmm. And you can pull more out of that if you're an engineer and you know software developer and such. You can make that work. Like that's how the 360 lasted for like 10 years, and still brought like really awesome titles. Like you look at early 360 games and then where they ended up and what they did with that console was impressive.
Yeah.
Every couple of years now, a PC gamer's like, this isn't running. Let me get the new 1080 or whatever, and they'll go up to like the flagship card, and you kind of not like need that, but if you want that consistent performance all the time, like you're looking at like if you're on the Nvidia side of things, you're looking at like a 60 suffix number and like forward. So like you're like at a 60, 70, or 80, whether you're like 9 series, 10 series, or above, or whatever they have next year, to get that level of performance. Yeah. So and then of course they throw all the buzzword numbers out at you. But if you're doing like floating point operations, like if you're getting like 6 million or whatever, it's like 6 teraflops or something.
Yeah.
So maybe
I don't even know what a teraflop is.
Yeah, so a flop is floating point operation, which means like how many 3D like elements they can have roughly. This is rough. I don't exactly know either, but I have an idea. So it just means how much stuff you can render live on screen.
Okay.
And tera is whatever, how many commas, and so that is comparable to like a 980. Which is pretty sweet to throw into a console because those usually come in like a budget spec.
Which last year
of like a year-old card.
Yeah, last year the 980 was still kind of relevant, and that itself, the graphics card would run for like $500 just the graphics card itself.
Yeah.
So they're doing some good things. I'll probably pick it up just because the whole tech space and stuff.
Do you guys plan on buying it on release?
Oh yeah, if I can, yeah, absolutely.
Probably. If I didn't have the channel, probably not, because there's no like need for me right now to do it. And I've been playing a lot more PC games lately.
Yeah.
But like just for like maybe like an unboxing kind of video or something, I probably will. But it's not like I'm not really even pumped for it.
Yeah.
How about you, John?
I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah, I probably won't for a while.
I have the Xbox One S.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that can do 4K.
So you're getting
so it upscales and the HDR or whatever. Yeah. They put a bunch of LUTs on it to make your game look nicer. So I'm fine with that. And the upscale looks great. Yeah. I was comparing. I know they're different consoles, but I was comparing The Witcher 3 on a 4K display on the Xbox One S versus the PS4 Pro, and the PS4 Pro is kind of the equivalent of the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Nearly identical. Of course, the Pro looked better, but you would not notice unless you set them up next to each other.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Which I think is a testament to like just like display technology in general. Like I just bought a 4K monitor recently during Prime Day. Actually, we were talking about that, and that thing is beautiful. I am never going back. But like, just having, I have the original Xbox One, and I was like, I wonder what this is gonna look like. Plug it in, try it, start playing. What the hell was I playing? Fucking Valiant Hearts or whatever, which is another Ubisoft Art Framework game. I have a backlog of games I gotta beat, but like that looked great. Like the upscale, whatever the monitor's doing or whatever the system's doing to push that up is looks good. It looks good. There's nothing to complain about there. Especially like if you can reduce performance hits like aliasing just because you have all of this resolution now, and then squeeze that down.
You guys know it wasn't at EA?
What?
For like the 6th year in a row? Possibly 7th or 8th year in a row?
I know.
Oh, no.
I know you're going to.
I mean, I've got one that wasn't shown as well, but...
Skate 4! EA! Like, every year, I don't even know if it's going to happen. They tweeted like a few years ago that like, it's up in the air, and like, we know there's a dedicated fan base. And there is. Like, if EA would have put out a Skate 4, I think their company would just go back up again. It's been on a wall, like the sports games, yeah.
I mean, they're doing pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, like there's sports games every year. It's the same kind of stuff. But I still buy them, you know.
You love this.
But it's just Skate 3. Like I was big into Skate 3 back when I bought it, like on the 360 back in like 2010 or whatever.
Dude, I gotta say Skate 1 is what I thought.
Skate
was
1,
like.
yeah, Skate 1 was awesome.
Yeah.
But recently, like last month, I think Skate 3 was free because like I was playing the other day. I was playing something and I got an alert that like Skate 3 finished downloading. I'm like, what? And I went and checked, and I don't know if it's because I have EA access or if it was just like free from EA, but it was in my games, and I booted it up again, and I played it for like 5 hours straight one night.
Wow.
And it was like, I think the night after, or the day after I posted that video on Twitter, like I played it from like midnight to like maybe 4 a.m. Didn't even like acknowledge the time or anything. I just had a great time. The game was awesome.
That is awesome.
There's nothing like, we were all big Tony Hawk fans.
Yeah.
Like, we went in on Tony Hawk.
Alright, I feel like...
Tony Hawk Underground.
I feel like skating culture, though, like, isn't like...
Yeah, it's definitely not what it was.
It's totally different than when we were kids. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I
They
feel
don't
like I just don't see people doing it as much. I don't see, like, the brand shirts around anymore.
Yeah, you know,
PacSun's like...
everybody was wearing like...
PacSun's
like
like...
shop now.
Yeah, it's like beachy vibe.
Attire,
Yeah, we grew up like... Back in like 2003, 2005, like those were like the glory years for skateboarding again. Because that's when like...
Dating ourselves so hard.
Yeah, but like you kind of don't want to attribute it back to like...
I feel like it gets some... Depending on who you talk
Oh yeah, it was definitely like early 90s, late 80s. Like that was obviously like more the big rise. But I'm talking like more modern...
The kick, yeah.
Because like Jackass came out and that's when like, oh, on the street, you know, like on the go filming... CKY, like BAM and stuff. Like that's when like skateboarding was really coming back again.
Becoming like an accepted common athletic feat.
Like the commonality of it, I think, is like
so that's when it was huge. And we were like in 5th, 6th grade at the time. I know me and Billy would skateboard for hours and hours and hours and never got better.
Awfully so bad.
But that's when like Tony Hawk started coming out and stuff. And those games were amazing. Like I know for most of us, we can probably still like attribute the soundtrack. So like,
oh yeah,
what we listen to today.
Seriously.
Yeah. And then Skate came out in like 2007 or 2008, and it just destroyed Tony Hawk single-handedly.
Just the idea of having controls that weren't like the arcade style controls, where you're like doing a thing and an action happens. It was like you are now controlling what your feet do, like in a very intuitive way. And I think that's another like turning point in gaming in general, where controls started becoming like really cool, like more immersive into what your character's doing. Like Dark Souls, I think, does that really well. It still has that like sort of arcade element, but you know, when you bring up your shield, like you're holding your shield, like Skyrim, all these sort of things, where it's like it's more direct. You're not just like
this like
giving a command
directly influences your trick.
Yes,
and it's like if you pull something cool off, like you feel good by it.
I felt good even just doing like kickflips.
Yeah.
Or like just like, man, I did a grind. Like I just did like a nose slide.
You gotta like position your body.
Line it up.
It's not just like jump, press A to jump, press Y to grind, jump off again. Like you're doing that with your thumbstick.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool.
Fantastic.
I remember when that the demo came out for Skate, and oh man, it was just like you had that one skate park, and I would play it for hours and hours, and I would just literally like make lines of doing like grind, go in the pool and do a grab. Like it was like not even insane stuff. Like Tony Hawk, you could like
you're doing like double
forever. Just keep going. As long as you're manualing, it doesn't matter. You know? But like, I don't know. It just felt real.
Yeah.
Even though
the authenticity of that game was like a whole new level of like, this is a skateboarding game.
Yeah.
This is great.
Man, like just going back, like obviously Skate 3 didn't look as good as I remembered, but still looked alright. I like how like the camera was like kind of like back and behind you, like it's like being filmed, which is cool.
Yeah, like the low angle fisheye.
And one thing Skate 3 did really well was like integrate the world. Like it's pretty much an open world. You can like go to the different spots, and they have like a team where you can like either have like the computer made ones, or you can like make your own friends and put them in and call up your team. Like you skate around, you can have them like just as AI just skating around like the natural world with you, which is really cool.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, and it was a great game.
What would you like out of a Skate 4 if it were to happen?
Honestly, there's not much about Skate 3 I didn't like.
Okay.
Because they just like, I mean, the first 2 are really good because like it was like the first integration of it and it was like the nostalgia to it. But 3, I think, is what really, at the same time, it also kind of made it a little bit more crazy because of the whole like Hall of Meat thing. You can like break all your bones and get points for it. But other like with that aside,
there's tons of funny internet videos.
I was always big into like creative parks and stuff, and like they have that in Skate 3. And you can go and like unlock different parks and stuff once you like sell a certain amount of boards, which is like your like money and stuff. You know, you can make like your own skate videos. You can, like put like take pictures and stuff and have them actually as like magazines in the game.
Nice.
But one thing is really cool is like when you're riding around, you can like get off your board and you could move around certain objects in the world to like make your own sort of like lines. And they have like a thing where you can unlock more objects to put in, like rails, benches, stuff like that. So you can like just make your own sort of like cool little line in this world that you're running around.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, it's still like really fun and bizarre because you can like have the D-pad is like animations you can do. So you can just get off your board and like flap your arms and like run into the traffic and stuff and like punch people. Like that stuff's like funny though.
It's like sandbox kind of like feel, but like you're involving yourself with the world.
Yeah.
Like in an authentic way as opposed to just like giving something a command.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's like the strong suit of. I think that's what VR kind of tries to do in a way, but just more visually and not actually with like good solid gameplay and controls, which I think is where games need to really focus and hone in on.
Yo, that's another thing that was not at E3.
It was VR.
No VR.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on that more towards the end, but that's one thing that we'll definitely bring up because but just real quick going back. Skate 4, like if they could just honestly polish up like a third, make the world a bit bigger.
Needs to talk about Skate for this one.
Just a little bit longer. I'm like, I just don't understand why they haven't made it. They have such a dedicated fan base that wiped out another franchise.
Yeah.
Millions of sales. Like I'm pretty sure the first 3 are like multi-million selling.
Well,
I don't know what the numbers are, but I felt like Tony Hawk suffered because of it.
Yeah,
like that franchise kind of disappeared.
I mean, I feel like it's the same like why no Half-Life 3 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was like a huge game. Like Half-Life 2, you know, is like huge. So I feel like it's just the team making it doesn't have incentive to make it. Like,
but at the same time, like EA, like they're known for putting out like these
cookie cutter.
Yeah, but like still like release titles every year, like these franchises, because they're big in the sport and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And again, yes, while the skateboarding scene has died, I feel like the fan base is still just so strong for it, and it would do so well.
I still see people like asking about it, like the whole like, why not Skate 4 like pops up. Yeah. Not as much as like the Half-Life argument, or like, you know, when are we getting like Portal 3 or something. Mm-hmm. Like not to that level, but it's there. So there's like a demand. So like if like those are, I don't know if it's. Like those are sales that you would absolutely have. Yeah. Like immediately.
When I was playing around the other night, I just like recorded like me just doing dumb stuff, and I tweeted to EA. I'm like, how many retweets for Skate 4? Didn't respond.
No buckets. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm all about it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next point.
What do we got?
But
talk about VR.
I do want to do that after the break, but right now, real quick, again, shout out to our sponsor, Blue Apron. They are sponsoring this episode, which is really cool. And I know I've been definitely getting into a lot of cooking lately.
Same.
So Billy has too. But the one great thing about Blue Apron is you don't have to go out to the grocery store, look up like ingredients list and buy all these things, come home and make like one meal. They send these boxes right to your front door. Great meals, pretty much. It's all like the exact ingredients you need, and like a little refrigerated box. So like if you're not home to get it, it's not gonna like go bad and stuff. That's cool because like you're saving time. Mm-hmm. Say like you're working a lot, you don't want to come home and make a full meal, worry about all that. It's just like the ingredients are there for you. It's simple stuff. They have stuff for like family, like large families, like one person. You can set up like how much you want to like send to you, like how frequently. Right. That's just great because like you're saving time in the end. You're saving money if you're not going out and buying like a ton of groceries that you're gonna either like throw out or not use. And I mean, if like someone like around our age or someone like in college, I think that's really, really awesome. Because in college, I would never cook, because I wouldn't want to go to the grocery store and stuff like that. And here, it's just like, I can get a box at my front door with everything I need, and it's usually like really like cool deals.
Yeah. So would that be like a good way to learn how to start cooking if you don't?
Yeah, no, definitely, because you have it tells you how to make it like exactly. How long it's gonna be, so you can like prep it in time. It's like, all right, while you're doing this, do this. Like that's cooking while you're prepping something else, and it's just like the exact ingredients you need right there. So if you want to. Yeah, no,
yeah, honestly,
it's really easy.
I might as well. I've kind of wanted to just for like
you
the
just
learning.
get like a little recipe card, and it has step by step how to prepare the meal.
So you've done it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're subscribed to it, and we get like meals for 4 people, so we always have leftovers.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So you can like, how many people are in your family or whatever? And
you can like set that and stuff. But the first 100 people to sign up, and the link in the description down below gets their first 3 meals for free. So that's pretty cool. If you haven't, done anything like this, you want to kind of get into cooking, definitely check that out.
I just might use that.
Yeah, dude. Definitely do it.
I think I actually might do it later today.
Do it right now. Oh wait, it's not. Yeah.
Ever since we moved in, like honestly, it's been like just like this past few months. Like you see like a lot of like tasty videos on like YouTube and stuff, and it's like, all right, that looks awesome. It seems simple. I'm gonna go make it. And that's kind of like how me and Emily just like started like expanding stuff.
Yeah.
And I make a pretty mean chicken marsala. I'm just gonna say that right now. But it's just like I like doing stuff like that because you can just make cool things. It's like spice it up a little bit, some paprika or something.
That's awesome.
Dude, yeah, I'm trying to get in the spice game.
Yeah.
Spice game.
One thing I like doing is getting a Jim Beam honey.
Ooh.
Like a little bit of marinade. Cook that like with the chicken and stuff. Nice little.
Sounds great.
Nice little flavor to it. Yeah, man. I don't know. I've been into cooking stuff lately. But
You had me at whiskey.
Yeah, Blue Apron. I think it's a cool idea.
Cool.
And I know like guys that we watch like Rooster Teeth and like Dude Soup and all that. They're big into it. I know like that's like how Lawrence like eats pretty much is through Blue Apron.
Right.
That's cool.
My roommate uses it, and he's always like, I come downstairs, I'm like, damn, like it smells so good. Like I don't know, it seems like it's pretty great.
No,
I'm gonna try it.
Definitely good service. And just like again, like if you ever been like scared to like get into cooking because like you could burn a house down if you don't know what you're doing. But, like they have it all there for you. So they make it simple, which is good, and just it saves like a lot of time in the end. Like if I would have, I don't know if it was around in college, but like if I would have had something like that, I probably would have eaten a lot healthier. First off, because like one thing that I do like about Blue Apron is the portions. I feel like I'm not like leaving overly full, but I'm not leaving like perfectly. No, I'm not leaving like where I'm like, all right, I'm still kind of hungry. Like you get up, you start cleaning up, and you're like, all right, now it's settled in. Like I'm comfortable right now, and that's one thing I really like.
Cool.
Because when you make like a whole meal and stuff, you can totally overeat. And you're like, oh, I feel like shit right now. And it's just like, no, Blue Apron's got those portions down, so I can appreciate that.
Nice. Excellent.
Appreciate that. Yeah, so definitely check that link, guys.
You could also you can opt out of meals, so you can log on to the
anytime
app.
you can cancel anytime.
Yeah, if you're like, I don't want chicken again, we just had that, you can just cross it off, and they'll send you something different, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, man. And it's like from what I've seen so far, like the meals that I've had, it's not just like regular boring meals. Like it's always like some cool things that I'm trying out, and it's like they kind of like spice it up a bit. It's pretty interesting.
And seasonal vegetables. Oh, it's perfect. You're always eating something new.
John's about it.
What's your favorite seasonal, in-season vegetable?
Well, my favorite is once fall hits, you get squash pretty often.
Oh man!
And cooking up some good squash.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
I don't know if it's seasonal, but I've recently gotten into avocados, so I'm just rolling with the whole millennial thing. But yeah,
they're good.
They're so good on like anything.
I've never been about them until like recently I started like putting them on like toast and like eggs in the morning, just like a little topper and stuff. And it's adds a nice little.
Just a little bit of mush.
I don't know if you would like it. You don't like beans, and it's kind of like that.
Not a big bean guy.
That mush consistency. Not a big taste though, which is good. It's just a natural like.
Yeah, I mean
it tastes how like
not the taste,
green, you know. Like you look at it like this is how this is how it should be.
No, I agree. I feel healthier.
Yeah, it's just like fresh and stuff. It's good stuff, man. I'm all with the cooking life recently.
Sweet.
So yeah, check the link in the description for the first 3 meals. You're free, and first 100 people get that. So it's pretty cool. All right, so another game that we've been playing a lot.
Like, oh god, yeah.
I'm not like a person who plays a lot of games anymore, just because like timing and stuff, and working on the channel. We've been playing Battlegrounds an unhealthy amount. Like, we got it. I mean, it's kind of farther now, but like we picked it up right before Easter, and I've already put 195 hours on Steam to do it.
Yeah.
And Andy's like,
I'm over 300.
Yeah.
I haven't put anything into that.
Yeah. I thought my like Counter-Strike time was high, and that's only like 75 hours.
Yeah, that's nothing.
But it's just one game that like, do you know like a lot about it?
Yeah, I've watched a good amount of like gameplay videos.
Okay, yeah, just something about it. It brings you to like this. Like you're so narrowed in on what's going on because like your life actually like means something in this game. Because when you die, like all right, that's it. You're back to the menu. But like you just value that time so much, and there's no like better and rewarding feeling than
winning.
You get that chicken dinner, and it's just it's great. It's great.
That's what it says. This is winner chicken dinner. Yeah. And so I don't know. If you've never played it, play it. Like, oh my god, it's so fun.
We all like Battlefield a lot because, like, again, like in that game, like you feel like you valued your life more.
EA Battlefield.
Yeah, Battlefield. Did I mess that up at all?
No, you. Okay. I know where you're going with it. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, Battlefield, not Battleground, because in that game, like we used to play a lot of COD. Then once Battlefield 3 came out, we switched to that because it just felt more realistic. Again, like you value your teamwork and your life more.
Yep.
And in this game, it's like you have to value that because if you die, you're out of the game.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. I'm really digging it.
It's different. Like, you don't start with anything. So like you have to run around, pick up all your gear and whatnot that you want or don't want, and then like distribute supplies with teammates if you have them or anything, and then I like to just go like hunt people. Yeah. That's me. I just like to go find them and take their stuff. But sometimes that's not the best idea, and that's what's so great about it is like there's different pathways to try to get to the end of the game, and you're also fighting not really the environment. Like I wish they had more environmental stuff that kill you.
I mean, it's still early access. Like I think it launched in like March or something. And it's supposed to be fully done by, I believe, like November. But like for an early access game, like it is very polished. It's like better than I would say a lot of games on PC that are just released and are really buggy or crappy.
A lot of other earlier access games, like
there's definitely problems with it, but
and early access really turned me off for a while. But this, like once everybody started talking about it, once I started seeing what's happening, I was like, look, if I don't like it, I'll just like tell Steam like, no, I don't want this.
Yeah.
And
But we were hooked instantly.
Yeah.
And like we played a lot with Tyler Micklick. Like he's always like on our, because you can do solo, duos.
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
like
you guys are playing squads? Are you playing solo at all?
Yeah, I do solo a lot,
solo,
but I usually play with him, Tyler, and we'll have like someone else jump in or stuff. Or we'll just run with a group of 3. Right. And like oftentimes we've won. It's been like a group of 3 of us.
Nice.
Yeah. But you don't win a lot. That's the thing, is because there's 100 other people and stuff. So I think I've only won total like around 15 times in those almost 200 hours of playing.
Jeez.
So and then when you win, it's just like
it's like
everything feels good. Like you're, once it gets to like the top 10 that you're in, like your heart just starts like pulsating like crazy. Like the adrenaline kicks in.
Frank is in your dreams, like vivid dreams about
it. For the first like month, 2 months, like every night I would play, I would have like these intense like PTSD kind of dreams of like reliving the moments in the game, like what I could have done, because it's like war in a way.
That is crazy.
So it gets crazy. But like the last like 2 times we've won, I've like been like capping. Like once I get to like the top 10, I'll like start capping just in case, so we can like see like what we did wrong or like what we did that was good. And the other time I think it was the last time we won, because like it just gets so intense at the end, like it's so hard to explain. But like right as we killed the guy, I was like, all right, that's how we do. That's how we do. I was just like.
Got to be in this one building right here.
Yeah, he is.
Who's got frags? Who's got frags?
I know where he's at.
Be aggressive. Don't charge in the building though. He's gonna have to.
Serious.
Got him. That's how we do it. That's how we do it.
Spoon just got
Why did I say that?
Yeah, but it's just like
just come with different
You
person.
turn into somebody else at the end of the game. Like you are the most passive player I know that I play with.
Right.
And
but once it gets to that final, like I awaken.
Once there's like 20 people and we're like moving into the circle, if we have good position, you just start like actually like looking for people, and then like all of a sudden I'll be like, "Do you see anybody wear stuff?" And I'll hear pop, 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 and Frank's just like shooting at somebody. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going now. So it's something like entertaining to see you all of a sudden turn from like a little mouse into like a crazy tiger or a dog. I hope that like pops up on the.
It's like the one thing you're worrying about a lot is not only the other players, but like now like the map like restricts and stuff and where you have to go. So that's a big thing. But like one of the things like when I'm playing solo is, and like in other games I don't usually like this, but in this game like I will camp out for a bit and I'll hide in a bush for 20 minutes if I have to. Like if the map's being like favoring.
I was gonna say it's probably how I would have ended up playing.
Because like you value your time. It's like and you don't want to get all this cool gear and like get shopping from like behind, and it's like, oh well, that's all the way over.
It's nothing you did wrong. It's just
sometimes
there's so many people that you just can't control it.
You get like a ghillie suit, like if you're lucky enough to get one of the crates, and just like you will like blend in with the grass and stuff, and just hang out for like 20 minutes.
What drives me nuts about that? Off. When you get good gear and you have it, and the rest of us we're all like set and ready and decked out, and we still are hesitant to engage on a team that we can probably destroy because we're set and we don't do it, I get really sad because
well, if I have good gear, I'm all good to go.
Yeah,
a lot of the times is I won't either have like a scope or a sight, or I'll have like no like helmet or vest.
Yeah, And that I get.
It's very spotty with the gear you get. Because you can like go into any house, any building, you can find stuff. And I just been having horrible luck the past like 2 weeks with gear.
Yeah.
Like we played a little bit last night. I brought my my Razer Blade laptop.
Yep.
And you played around, and there was just like nothing.
Nothing. We didn't find anything.
It's just me.
It's bad.
All game saving.
And then I got killed by a dude just like laying down at the top of the stairs in the building. I was like, well.
Yeah, I'll camp outside in the world. I won't camp in a house. I hate that.
Yeah.
But it's been really fun. Now there's this one popular streamer, and this is kind of like a big thing the past week. Dr. Disrespect.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys like. He is this over the top. He plays this like.
It's so weird.
This ridiculous. You know Ben Stiller in Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like exactly what it reminds me of.
That's
He
exactly
wears this crazy mullet wig. He has these like really dark shades, and he has a ridiculous mustache. But he calls it his Ethiopian poisonous caterpillar. It's not a mustache.
Okay.
But he's just like this crazy over the top guy, like 6'8", like I don't know. He's a ridiculous dude. But he is like the #1 streamer on Twitch when it comes to this game. Like he'll have like 20 to 25,000 viewers at once during that game. And
sheesh.
Last week he was streaming, and it was him and 2 other streamers. So they were like pretty popular. They usually stream together. And they got grouped with a random because they did squads. And they didn't turn off like auto matchmaking or whatever. So they just got a random in there. And they were running around for a bit. And one of the rules in the game is no team killing.
Okay.
And it was
Is it built into the game or?
No, it's just like a moral rule or
Don't
so.
do that.
Yeah. And they found like a little motorcycle with like a sidecar, so he could fit 3 in it, which would have left the one guy out.
Okay.
So he just like, on stream, whatever, just like killed him to be like funny. And I guess one of the devs was watching. And the second that game was over, they banned him.
Wow.
Now, this is a guy again who has like every time he streams like 25,000 people watching, probably responsible for a good portion of their sales.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously not directly. You can't like give him that.
Battlegrounds is his income.
Yeah, exactly. But he also like streams a lot of other stuff. But like for the past like month, this is what he's been streaming, 20,000 views each time, or whatever. And so he got banned after that. He's then since made like a different account. But the PlayerUnknown, like the main dev, like his own Twitter and stuff, he went on and said like, regardless of who you are, like not following the rules, like you're gonna have a bad time, pretty much. So like he banned him and stuff, and he replied back saying like, usually I'll just like, or if I could, I kick you in the face. Like I try to high kick you in the face, but since I can, I'll just like kick you in the chest. And then the developer, like obviously he's just like playing part like that character, and he's like. The developer responded like, I don't care who you are, but like resulting in violence is not the answer to anything.
Yeah.
And he was just like obviously I'm kidding.
He's like an online persona. So.
Yeah. So and the dev like took it all serious. Everybody was like, obviously this guy's just messing around. So the next day, because like all his like tweets like on that whole thread was just like, dude, like chill, he's messing around. So the next day the dev puts out this thing saying like, all right, this will explain yesterday. And the reason he said that, like the whole like don't result like the violence stuff, people don't know like if you're kidding. Apparently, when he was in college, him and his roommate got into an argument, and instead of handling it like men, he brought out this whole thing. His roommate kicked him in the chest, and his head went through a glass door.
Ow.
So when he read that tweet, it like triggered this like anxiety thing. But it's like, how ridiculous. Your roommate kicked you in the chest, your head went through a glass door, you saw this tweet from an online personality who's messing around playing your game, and they just took it all serious. Like when I read that, it was just so hard.
Did he do anything more than just tweet back?
No, that was it.
Yeah, well,
That was it.
That was it. But the dev took it so
really,
far.
I mean, he didn't really take it far. He didn't take it any farther than this guy did.
Right, but I mean, like, just to go to that, like, I don't know if maybe the story's true, but like, obviously, reading a tweet from a guy didn't like trigger this anxiety attack where you're like, oh my god, he's gonna kick me through a door. Yeah. Like that kind of thing.
I feel like he shouldn't have had to defend himself. Like he can say like, "Yo, don't threaten me." Like that's totally fine. I think the only reason it's blown that way is because the streamer had 25,000 people backing him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But then since his account was banned, I think it was like a 3-day ban. His new account that he made was like Glassdoor or something like that, which I thought was pretty funny. Just
Glassdoor.
Little stab at him.
See now that like
but
when you continue to play into it, whether like you're a persona or not. Now you're taking it.
But
Now you're starting to border on like play the persona and like do something along those lines. But it's like if you start tying it back in to like why you're mad personally outside of your character, then I think you're on the line.
Like we watched a little bit of him last night. Like that's just like the kind of like character he plays.
I don't like it. I think it's ridiculous.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, and you're into that though. Like you kind of like that outlandish sense of humor sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know.
But It was just weird. It's
a good game.
Yeah, I'd like to play it. I don't have a PC to game on, so I'm kind of waiting for the console drop.
Yeah, that's another thing, because it is coming out.
Oh, that's right.
Towards the end of the year, PC, Xbox One, PS4. They're working on like 2 new maps and stuff, a lot of new like mechanics and stuff, which is going to be pretty cool. I'm definitely pumped for the new maps.
That's exciting. Yeah.
We've sunk almost 200 hours into this one map that we know like the back of our hand now.
Yeah.
So it's like if we can get some new maps going on, that'd be sick. They have like new weather and stuff every now and then.
Oh, it's cool.
Like you get like a sunset version of the one map, and you get like a rain version of the one map, and I love the rain version because I feel like I'm like way sneakier.
Yeah, like hides footsteps and stuff around, so it's kind of harder to hear if someone's like sneaking up on you.
We get it like 1 out of maybe every 20 or so games. Yeah. And I'm like, that's a little less. Like we need more of that to happen.
Now they are adding zombies, which again, it's not going to be the main mode. It's going to be like a separate zombie mode. Yeah. All along, I thought it was like the zombies were like AI, and it's like kind of like a wave where you just like fight these zombies until there's like 100 zombies in the world, and they're all coming at you and stuff like that.
So it's not that.
No, I'm pretty sure it's from like their beta testing so far. It's actual players that are zombies, and they just all run to you. Like, they all drop with you once you jump out of the helicopter or the plane. And then it's just like they try to attack.
So it's an even bigger server, or is it just a smaller team of humans?
No, I think it's still 100. Yeah, so you get like a 6 or 7 squad of humans. I don't know how large the squads are, but then everyone else is a zombie.
Okay.
Which kind of works, kind of doesn't, because as soon as you drop, like the zombies are like, well, I'm just gonna drop and follow. So as soon as you start the game, there's 100 zombies.
I'm sure there's some sort of limitation though.
Yeah. A few of the streams I watched of that testing was just like they just jumped out as soon as you jump out, and
and chase you down. That kind of sucks, because now you're like, that's like when you drop just like with another human, like that's frustrating sometimes, because you go to like pick something up and they come up behind you like a machete. Yeah.
Let alone 99 other people there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because since he was like responsible for like the DayZ mod and stuff, I figured it was gonna be like, oh, there's zombies there just like in the world and like just like running around trying to do things.
I feel like that would work better. I feel like that would work much better. And if there are like human players, or say if you get killed by a zombie, maybe 1 out of every so many zombies, like you get turned into one, and then there's a whole bunch of AI zombies, but then there's also a person zombie too. Yeah. So you could, you're fighting like a whole horde of like shitty AI zombies, and then like a human zombie.
So it'd be possible to get the chicken dinner as a zombie.
Maybe.
If you were turned into a zombie from an AI zombie, and then you kill the rest of the players. That'd be wild.
Yeah. It could be just like zombies win or something like that. But yeah, I think that'd be kind of neat. And that way you don't have to like exit the game. You could still stay in the game if you wanted to, but just you get to play as a zombie, like infection game modes in any other franchise really. So
that sounds fine. I'd like to see just something new, something a little, not necessarily original, but just something else. Every game is doing zombie modes. Yeah. So it'd be cool if it were just the weather affects how you can move, and if it's a storm goes through if you don't get cover.
Yeah. So
I'd like to see other area of effect.
Yes.
Than zombies
we have an idea. So Frank went to go grab a drink when we were playing one time, or something happened. You had to like leave the room for a second. So you just put on auto run. And Tyler, myself, and Stark were like, we're protecting you. Yeah. This was the goal. So Frank's just running like in a straight line.
I think it was, right? Or something like that. Was it when I was eating dinner? Like, was it
yeah. You went to go grab like dinner or something like that real quick. And Frank's just like running across like open fields, and like we're like trying to like push him around fences and stuff, and just make sure that he stays alive. And by the time you got back, we were like next to like another squad, and it got like a little hairy real quick. But you came back at like the perfect time. But I think if we had like an escort game mode,
like
where you have to escort like that'd be really where like sweet. They only have like a pistol or something, or whatever. That would be really cool.
That would be.
Or like they only have one weapon slot and like a vest and a helmet, but they can't carry any heavy weapons or that sort of thing.
Yeah. Or like even if that person was a little tougher to kill, because you can snipe somebody pretty easily, and that would just end the game mode. So maybe if the president was like a tougher person or had like better armor or something, and they just need to get from one place to another place, and drop in like normal, have like a couple different compartmentalized teams, maybe like 10 per team, so like 9 people and 1 president, and then you have a bunch of those, and like you're just trying to go to different points and get like a score or something, and then you just try to eliminate another team at the same time. And if you eliminate another team, maybe you take their points that they've accumulated or something.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways they can go with this, because like with it being battle royale, like they can put in whatever kind of mode they want, and odds are it would work.
That would be sick. I'm really excited to see what happens with these custom games that they have available, and if it can be like even like Steam Workshop,
like some sort of race. Because there's all the vehicles in the game. Like that would be
like a vehicle only like version where it's like you can't actually get out of your vehicle. You just like spawn in and.
They are adding to those first-person servers. Like it's primarily third-person, but you could switch to first-person. But now, since people, I guess, are requesting it more, they're doing like just first-person, which would be interesting. Because I don't really play as first-person, but
I don't either.
It would still look cool.
The only time I do is when I aim down sights. And that's it.
So it's definitely been a good time. Would you guys you probably pick it up on console?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm really into that kind of short-form gaming.
Yeah.
So even things like Overwatch, Rocket League, where you just hop into a match and then you can be done. Yeah. Where sometimes it takes a little bit more time. Like if you're playing something like Witcher or Fallout, where you're invested in the story and there's a huge world. If you don't play it for a month, you come back and you're like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
I hate that.
It's really easy to hop into a round of Overwatch or PUBG or Rocket League or something. So yeah, I'll definitely pick it up.
Awesome.
Sweet.
So we were talking a little bit before about E3. And one thing that I noticed, and we talked about it too, was there wasn't a lot of VR going on. Like they didn't showcase any games. Last year I think it was last year, right? With the HoloLens.
I don't know if it was 2.
Yeah, like might have even been both. Because I think last year was like a real, 2 years ago was like a kind of rough concept, and last year like they really showed it off. But there was absolutely nothing about the HoloLens this year. That's disappointing because that thing looked awesome.
Yeah.
Not so much VR, that was more AR.
Yeah.
But still, like they didn't show anything like that off. Now recently, the Oculus Rift dropped from, I believe it was $600 for the Rift itself and the two touchpads, whatever, from $600 to $400. And the Vive, I believe, was $800, dropped to $600. And since those came out, and what's funny is the last time we did this podcast was the day I pre-ordered the Vive. And at the time, I was real pumped for it because I just tried it out at CES. And when it first launched and stuff and I got it, it was cool. Mess around, play a few games. But thinking about it now, I don't think I've played it in over a year. I don't think I've hooked up my Vive since I moved last year and I was just messing around with it, playing Audio Shield or something.
Yeah.
But they haven't announced any new games. They haven't showed off anything. A lot of the games that they did announce when VR was first coming out was early access or it's coming up, and either is still in that mode or they're just putting it out. And I feel like VR as a whole has kind of died down for a bit.
Oh, for sure. Sony's whole deal was the Morpheus, you know, PSVR, and I'm sure there was something on the floor at E3 with PSVR,
probably.
A game or something, but there were no highlights.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of, was Skyrim VR announced at E3, or was that...
Okay, that was...
Was
it?
Yeah. So that the only thing pretty much, again, a Skyrim...
But was that even Sony, or was that just in general?
It might have just been in general, yeah.
Was it at the Bethesda one?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been Skyrim, Fallout 4, and Doom.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
There's nothing new. Those are all games that have been out.
Right.
And so I just Skyrim.
I don't know what else they could really do with VR anymore.
Yeah.
Because
that's the thing. It's still really open. Have you guys played Resident Evil 7 on VR?
No, but I've heard.
Okay, it's
heard
awesome.
That's a nightmare.
It's sort of difficult sometimes, but I really enjoyed playing it. I didn't finish it. I probably got 70% through the game, and only playing in VR. I never played on my TV.
Mm-hmm. Oh, weird.
That was great.
Yeah.
It was talked about a good bit, but I feel like it was pretty underrated for a VR console game. It was awesome. And there are a lot of different titles that could probably run with something like that just aren't.
Yeah.
It's a shame. We can go fishing in Final Fantasy 15, but
the thing that's finding good ways to make that VR experience an in-depth and immersive one. For a horror game where it's it helps to actually what do you think of when you think of horror? It's looking behind you. Mm-hmm. You don't have you can't look behind you in a video game the same way because it's that input control, what we were talking about earlier, where you need some sort of mechanic that makes you feel like you are influencing the controls directly. And if you are scared to look behind you, and you actually have to do it with your own eyes, that's cool.
Walking into rooms
is a nightmare.
The whole first probably hour and a half, depending on how quick you're going, of Resident Evil 7 is so painful.
Yeah.
It takes so long to get to the point that you're comfortable just walking forward.
Yeah.
There's so many points where I was playing it with my girlfriend and my buddy, and there were times where we had to like take off the headset and pass it to the next person to play, because you get to a room and we didn't know what was going to happen, but it was just a dark room.
Yeah.
And the sound is so well designed, and you just get there and you look in, you're like, I don't want to fucking go in. And
yeah.
It takes a long time. Eventually you do get a little more comfortable.
Right.
Like you kind of, you know that this enemy is stuck over here, or I just beat this guy, so he's probably not here yet, and you feel a little more comfortable walking around. But then they quickly destroy that. And
yeah. Okay.
That's like one thing with. I know there's a Paranormal Activity game on Steam. I still like if you could play PT, like remember that demo?
Oh yeah.
Like that with VR would be absolutely insane. I feel like that's kind of similar.
You get the same satisfaction from Resident Evil 7.
Yeah. You're in this house, going around.
Because it adds that like boxed in, closed in, you're kind of trapped feeling, which I think is great. For other things like shooters and stuff, I don't know. I feel like that's not necessary. Like you just get to look around a bit, which is no different than you having that direct control as is. Like that's fine. There's no element that it's putting you in and like immersing you. Like other things, I think it's cool. It's like any sort of like space or like flight game. I think that's kind of neat. Because you're in a space where, again, you're already enclosed. You don't have to move or go anywhere, like physically in the real world, and then you're just like zoned in on exactly what you're doing, and you can have a direct impact on like, oh, I can look around in my cockpit and like see what I got going on here. Like,
wasn't there an X-wing
like an
VR thing?
Ace Combat game or something like? Oh yeah, there was a.
I didn't play that one, but
there was like the Star Wars like VR experience thing. Yeah, that was a little like demo.
What was the game you played? 'Cause you said like the first time you tried it, you were just like real into it.
It was just like the
lab
demo stuff. Yeah, it was the lab. Like that archery game.
Yeah,
so much fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Have you played it at all?
VR? No, I haven't played any VR stuff, which is like, I'm not like super interested in doing so.
That's how I
But
felt.
the ones that I think would be cool are the ones where like you have. My struggle is like you need enough space. Like there's something at this one resort up where I live where they have this VR experience where there's a room and it's like big and it's open or whatever. And you can interact with the real world, but everything you see is just enclosed in
I've
VR.
seen stuff like that.
So they have like some zombie game or whatever where you can like survive against zombies, but it's just a big open space. And you see like a couple people with headsets like on with a team, but they can walk over to each other and just like interact with each other through a digital like window essentially.
So it's
that's
just like
crazy.
a game mapped on a physical environment.
Yeah. So it sort of adds that like AR plus VR element where, but like, the thing I think that helps with the headsets is it closes you in and it helps you forget about the outside world. Like AR, you're still in the outside world.
It's just kind of like a glorified laser tag.
Yeah, but
It's kind of cool though.
That is. So for me, that's like
it's not cool.
Like that's I think where it needs to go. Like if they built like a big warehouse, and like it was like decked out for like VR stuff, and that was the experience that you did.
Some of those things do. Like I've seen videos like that. Yeah. I think that's the one thing with VR. Like you even said, it's like the first time you try it out, like it's just a unique, cool experience that like you get kind of like, okay, I could really get into this. But then like for me, once I got it, I was like, okay, there's some limitations. I've done this already. Well, like now what?
I feel like that's.
But the lab is something really cool. I think we should even show you that because if you haven't tried it out.
Yeah, we can try that out later.
Because I was very skeptical as well. And then
that was when
we played it. I was like you could tell how in awe I was just at the scenario. It was
like I love little like games and like tricks like that where I can like interact and learn like a skill-based thing. And in games you get that sort of like connection to the gameplay, and that's why I love really tight controls. So if I can actually do that with like my body where I have more confidence.
And the great part
in,
is
my
with those
ability
Vive
to do
controls, it comes so naturally. You
Yeah.
never stop and go, oh, how do I pick this up? What button do I hit? You just do
you
it.
just decide to do it.
And
Yeah,
that is good design.
that's
That's
awesome.
how it should be.
Yes.
Now you see, like we're like really stoked about VR right now.
Yep.
Why is there nothing to play?
It's like there's not that like killer app, like the game that you have to play.
There's a
like,
lot
There's
on
no
Steam.
Halo of.
There's like Super Hot and there's Gorn. Was that the big Coliseum fighter? I don't remember. There's a few that come out on Steam, but it's just
The big zombie one, Arizona Sunshine. That's what I played at CES. That like really got me into.
Okay.
It. That was really cool. That like just got released, and that was shown. Like I played the demo of that at CES 2016, and that was 2 CESs ago, and like it just now came out recently. So I think that's a big thing that kind of hindered it, was not a lot of games readily available when it launched.
Right.
Like, do you think that it's because it's still like expensive that it's not?
I think
like,
it's a little.
I think
little
the
bit
space thing is kind of hard for a lot of people. Like, I know I couldn't do it in my
house.
house.
It's a little
like,
outside of everybody's like price range. The price point has to, and that's why they're dropping.
Right, like any new tech. But do you think like in 2 years, like when it's like really cheap, like and it's more common, like you need like the Call of Duty of VR for it to be like a thing that people want to be competitive with, and you know, like
it still
drive
seems
the
like
sales.
an enthusiast-based concept, and even enthusiasts are like, nah, I don't want to wear that headset or whatever.
Yeah, and that's one of the things.
As soon as you interact with a space, like. I think that's where, like, I could see, like, VR arcades. Like, arcades coming back to where, like, you don't, like, now you have to go somewhere to, like, a venue and play some sick-ass VR game that you can't get at home.
Right.
You know? Because not everybody's going to be able to, like, afford one, but you can just go and do this thing.
Even, like, AAA titles, like, really, I don't understand why they're not making things VR compatible. I know, like, I'm not a developer, so I know nothing about, like, what it would take to make a game that's third-person easily into VR. I know it's not as simple as like, well, you just put the helmet on and you make it so your right analog stick is the head turn. I know it's not that simple.
Yeah, we know nothing about how to do any of that stuff.
That's how I imagine it, but I know that's not the case. But like, okay, so we see Forza be announced for, is that only Xbox?
Yeah.
So what is the equivalent that's cross-platform or just Sony?
I think it's
Gran Turismo. Is usually the.
Is there like a new one announced?
Are you talking about like what's the PS4 thing? Or?
Okay.
Project Cars or something like that for PC.
Okay, so like
Formula
when
1.
the new one comes out, like say Forza comes out and it was for PlayStation, do you think they would support it in third-person VR? Because like they should, they just put out this
headset. They probably do it in first person. A lot of like hardcore Forza players. They would probably first. That would be cool, dude. If you had like a driving thing and you could actually like look,
or you could do that, or just hold your
I think the
controller.
Formula game, like Formula F1, I believe. I think that was one they showed off.
That'd be cool. I'd play that.
Yeah,
I'd absolutely play that.
But even like Star Wars, like Battlefront, you can play that.
That
third
would be
person,
awesome.
But if you're playing that first person,
that would be insane.
How great would that be? Of course, it'd be a little lower resolution. The rendering would be whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
if you're that close though,
exactly.
Like, that's the thing. Like, what are okay? So you work with VR tech a lot. What is like a generic like quality spec that you need? One for a computer and two like resolution and output. Like how does that work?
I work primarily with VR video.
Okay.
So totally different than what you would need to run a VR game well.
Yeah. Gotcha. Because it's all pre-rendered essentially is what you get.
Correct.
Okay.
So I can't really answer that completely.
All right.
But like say for a normal video that you're then going to watch on a Vive or an Oculus or on a Gear VR, whatever your platform is, like we try to render out. We can render out anywhere. The lowest that we'll ever render out is 4096, 2048.
Okay.
And we'll go up to like 12K.
Wow.
Nice.
And that gets squeezed down into
like
those video platforms?
Obviously, like a 12K video, you're not going to throw on your Samsung phone and watch it in Gear VR. It just won't run. And I mean, even a 4K video hardly runs on the older phones.
Now, why is it 12K?
Well, so if you're...
Because I didn't know it was that big. That's insane.
You can. You don't need to. Okay. There are people who do like 16K videos. So the more resolution, the crispier your image.
The crispier your image. Oh, because they're all stitched. Is that the thing? Okay. So you have like a bunch of like 4K.
Yeah. So if you're shooting on like a 12 camera rig and each camera is shooting 4K, you're getting 48K.
Okay.
Obviously, there's some overlap, so you're probably only getting like 38K, 40K.
So what's the viewing portal then of whatever's in front of you in that video? Like I understand the whole video is this
that
resolution.
depends on the headset. So it's not quite 180 degrees. You don't have peripheral vision.
Right.
So it's probably like 140.
Okay. And then so whatever that resolution in front of you, as long as the video is crisp enough.
But you could also change that. Like if you're viewing on we're getting into like weird stuff now.
Yeah.
But so it depends on the headset. But like even if you produce a video that's whatever 12K after you compress it down, but you still wanted a higher resolution, there's nothing to fucking view. Sorry, I don't know if I can there's nothing to view that on.
Right.
So 4K is kind of what everything's being displayed at.
Okay.
But none of the headsets actually have a 4K.
Like real 4K on it. Okay.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to have you try it out. It is definitely cool.
I think it's worth it.
We'll do it at the
And like we are in this awesome studio space where John works.
Yeah.
So like we have like all the stuff over there, and it's pretty sick. Now the one thing that you kind of just mentioned it before was what?
No, we all started laughing, so I couldn't hold it in.
You said like the annoying thing was actually putting on the headset for like enthusiasts. And like I think for people who do want to play games, they want to just hang out and relax. And that's one of the big like annoyances. Like when I go to set it up, I don't want to have to then like sometimes upgrade or like update the light boxes.
Yeah.
Put this thing on, make sure like the cables aren't like getting in the way, make sure like the controllers are all charged up. And by the time you do all that, it's just like, all right, now I'm just gonna like stand here. Like, I just want to like sit down like on the couch, relax, and play some games. That's one of the annoyances.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you're like chilling at home, you like Netflix and like whatever, you're just like hanging out, relaxing. You're at home. When you're like, I'm gonna go to a movie, you're now making the day like an event, you know. Yeah. So I think that's why I think like if VR places showed up, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's the same concept. Like people don't want to put like if you're just you're just trying to relax, you're not gonna go through all this extra hassle, which is why I think. The PlayStation one is like the easiest to set up, right?
Yeah.
They've probably executed it the best.
It's still a mess.
From that.
It is. Right, it definitely is the easiest to set up because you don't have your like room sensors, and there are actually hand controls you can set up and stuff. But there's like a ton of little cables, and you get separate boxes along with the headset, and some of the cables have to be plugged in the front of the PlayStation because you need USB ports, and there aren't enough on the back of the PlayStation. So it's still not great.
Gotcha. Damn, that's a bummer.
Man,
if they could get rid of I hate wires. Like we have our set here and like there's wires. I hate wires.
You can't see them.
But we can't see them. That's true. But they're here, and it drives me nuts because one like falling over stuff, and if you have to interact with like a 3D space, like if you're like attached to something, like that's never fun.
Yeah.
So if they could find a way to make them wireless, which would kill resolution because you have to throughput all that data to a monitor or whatever. I think that could be a solution, but we're probably kind of far from that.
Kind of. I know MSI makes like a VR gaming backpack kind of thing with their laptops where it's all plugged in to the laptop and it just like goes in this like kind of backpack strap thing you wear. Mm-hmm. So again, that's going to be for like the
now you're wearing
top like 2% who can afford something like that.
It's real simple for like Vive or Oculus to in their box just throw in a little, like the GoPro clips and mounts, and they all come with like the little sticky things. So you can stick them on the ceiling, kind of like we're doing right here. Oh, and it's dead.
That's alright.
Can't cut to it.
That's all right.
I don't know why they don't just like put a little sticky with a hook, so then you can tether your cord to your ceiling. Like, what a simple solution. Just doesn't happen.
Okay.
That's cool stuff. Hopefully, it kind of takes on more.
I'm a little bit interested.
You'll like
just because I know like what it could.
The experience is really different.
Yeah.
Like, so we were talking last night when we were hanging out. Like, there hasn't been anything that's made me feel excited about technology or in games in like a long time. Like, I remember buying like when the first like good graphics game when the 360 came out, or like even N64. You're like, holy shit, it looks so real. Like what? Like it was just like mind blowing, you know. Yeah. But like nothing makes me feel that way anymore.
Yeah. Side note, adding on to that, I just looked up the other day, the time that we got N64s when they came out, between the time that we got 360s when they came out, is less than 10 years.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Think about what we got in the last 10 years. Like nothing. We got one system.
Xbox One.
Yeah, 360 was already out.
Yeah. So that's the only.
So we only got an Xbox One, which was really just an upgraded 360.
Yeah, it's just different. It's so much more incremental. Yeah. But putting on the HTC Vive and playing it, like I had that feeling of being like, wow,
this is something new.
While I have never played it again since, and I kind of don't really care. Like it was still, it like made me really excited about whatever that future was.
Okay.
I just don't think it's still just too complex. I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should definitely do this like right after. Now I kind of feel like I want to play it.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'll do that.
Cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, there's just still like not a lot of games coming out. Like just like we talked about the E3, nothing that I'm really too excited for. But
well, we couldn't remember.
Do you think it's just because?
Yeah, that tells you.
Do you think it's just because we're getting older too? Like we've been around for a while, so there's nothing like fresh to us. Like we've kind of seen the formula.
That's
like,
probably part of it.
We are now analytically talking about video games as adults. Like,
we'll be 25 in like 2 months.
Oh no.
Which I still feel like we're like 17.
Yeah.
Especially when we do stuff.
It's 25 soon. It's crazy.
Playing goddamn video games all day. Yeah.
I had a point to go along with that, but it's slipping right now. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird, and it could be a thing. Age, where like we're not like. I think another big thing is like the whole we talked about a few podcasts ago is like the whole what's the word, like nostalgia goggles.
Yeah.
Like we think back to how good games were and we'll go back and play it, And going from like Oblivion to the Skyrim on the 360 is a huge graphical difference.
Yeah.
But if you were to go back now and look at Oblivion and be like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Oblivion.
Again, I had a correlating point here. But yeah, we are getting a little older. We're not like as in awe about games when they come out.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe because we played a lot over the years. Like I know you got me into gaming back in like PS1 when we first started hanging out. At that time, I had like I think an N64, but like it wasn't anything crazy. We played a lot of FIFA at first.
Yeah.
Like some Spyro and stuff.
Oh man.
Back in those days, Circuit Breakers.
Oh yeah, wow.
And then like once like PS2 came out, we played like a lot more FIFA and a lot of football games even too. Like we played that for a while, but.
So I think like looking at it, when we look forward to a game, we're not like that young like, oh, I'm hopeful this game's gonna look like cool, it'll be great. It's like now it's like you know what this developer needs to do in order to make this thing work. Yeah. Like critically.
I want like story experiences. Like I play a lot of indie games now. Like I told you guys I played like the beginner's guide like a little bit ago. I didn't tell you guys exactly. I put it on the internet. So if you read my
yeah, your Twitter.
But like that was just like totally different. It was like a totally different experience, and it was great. I had such a good time. I just like put headphones in, just played it. It was an hour long. It was like a movie, and I was like, "This is sick." Like, this is very different. Where it's like when a shooter's coming out, I'm like, I've played shooters, you know, like I know like it might feel like Destiny 2, like the things we were talking about were so minuscule. It was like it's balanced a little bit better, like
it's the refinement. Yeah, and like it reaches that level like when you're invested, it matters, but when you're not invested, you don't care.
Which I'm not invested as much anymore. Yeah. So like I kind of want that wow.
Like no one's gonna come out of Destiny 2 and be like, that campaign was incredible. No one's gonna do it.
No, yeah, I don't think it will. They definitely have a clearer bad guy. Like there's definitely like the more Western style of storytelling now with like, you have a hero and a villain, but it can still
be fun and it can still be like a good time.
Oh, absolutely.
And like I'll play it and I'll probably be like, yeah, that was good.
Like raids and doing all that and figuring that out for like when you do it the first time is always an adventure. It is fun. It's satisfying when you're at the end. And then when you're done, you're like, cool, how does that get better? And they have like the hardcore and the challenge modes and like then you do that. Do you get tired of it? Cool, because you do things and it's not new anymore, and then now you're just doing it to earn rewards, which is always nice to have a goal in mind too. But like for storytelling, when are they going to bring that with like, oh, let's play the story again? Like every time you re-roll a character, like, I gotta play the story missions. No.
Yeah.
One game I actually am looking forward to now that I think about it, does a good job with the story, is Red Dead. I think it got pushed back again, but I mean that should be fun.
Yeah.
I know Far Cry 5, the whole thing with that was like once like Red Dead got announced and Far Cry put like a little teaser out, it's gonna be like in like this Western world kind of thing, like kind of copying it, but like in their own Far Cry kind of way.
Yeah.
Well, Red Dead's definitely gonna be it's not gonna be modern. Where I think Far Cry is.
Modern. I think it is more like a cult base too, like in Montana or whatever it is. Yeah. One game I would love to see, and I wish this is what Far Cry did instead of the whole like cult thing, was like if they could make an adaptation of like Westworld into a game.
Ooh.
I think that would be sick.
It's essentially Assassin's Creed 1.
Kind of, yeah. But like, I don't know. If they could pull it off like Red Dead, but instead of like...
There was no real, like... You always played though as that, like for Assassin's Creed, you always played as like everything that was in the Animus. Never anything that was like outside. If there was a way that you could like blend that, or like... Everybody's always wanted like the Assassin's Creed to like end up landing in like the modern era with Assassins. And like, you know, jumping through the city like Mirror's Edge or something like that. That'd be cool. It just kind of never happened. I think the closest they kind of got to it was Syndicate, where like just the world itself was like a more modern, setting. And I didn't even play that one because the one before it was awful. So I was completely turned off. Yeah. But having these like really unique environments, I think helps with the storytelling of the game, because the game is also something that you're interacting with. And you need that to be just as compelling as the narrative. So.
Right. And so Red Dead should be cool. I'm looking forward to that. In terms of video games, I think we pretty much talked about a lot of things.
Nailed it.
Oh, I got one question.
What up?
This is the I don't get gaming portion. One thing I saw while I was over at RTX in Austin was, I don't know who was actually there, but the whole thing was, Halo's here. Halo 3. backwards compatible. You can now just pop your disc right into your Xbox and play Halo 3.
Oh yeah.
Why is that appealing to anybody?
I don't know. It's not.
Because they have like the remastered.
They just put out the remaster
yeah.
that everyone had to drop like $70 on, where you could play Halo 3 remastered.
Yeah.
Now they're just like, oh, you can play Halo 3. It's gonna look real shit, but it's backwards compatible, so you can just use your old disc.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing?
I don't know. I guess it's for people that haven't bought Master Chief Collection, but
still have all the games and stuff.
But still have all those games. But if you haven't bought like Master Chief Collection, because that was like one of the games that came out like earlier in the life cycle of the Xbox One, you probably you probably didn't play. You probably don't have an Xbox One, so I don't know. It is really
people were
weird.
going wild about it. People were waiting online to play Halo 3.
Like
the Halo 3 disc and an Xbox One S. But it's
that's weird. That's just really weird.
Come play.
I didn't get it. But like these are all the people who definitely, more than likely, bought the Master Chief Collection and we were playing Halo 3 at home.
Still doing it.
So it's just like, oh, here's Halo 3 again.
I mean, maybe
like it's like there's not the nostalgia factor because they just got the re-release of Halo 3.
How old were these people in that line?
Our age? Probably between 18 and 25.
Okay, so kind of our age, but probably maybe a little more young, like probably a little youthful. Younger, yeah. Like I can understand us going somewhere and be like, oh, let's play like N64 or something like that, but. Yeah, that's just because like
it's more over the fact that like they just put out this game. They just put this out. Like why are they making a big deal of?
I guess if you didn't buy it and you don't want to buy it, you could be like, all right, cool, now I can play it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That is weird. It is weird. Because like Nintendo released the classics, like a small little Super Nintendo like micro thing with like HDMI and like a bunch of games on it, and that's to me that's kind of the same.
Yeah.
And people bought a crap ton of those and have them and. Maybe play them, I don't know. But if you still have an old like Super Nintendo that works, you could just play that. We're back at square one.
Do you think we'll get like a Nintendo Wii Classic Edition?
Like next year.
Yeah, we're almost there. Right?
Yeah,
we got like broken 2 more consoles to go.
Yeah, when we're 30. Yeah. We'll get that stuff.
I did get my hands on the NES Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Was it cool? It's okay.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
That's just where we are anymore. So yeah, that's all right.
Let's just re-release this thing. Just people are like, oh, remember that? Like they're making a sale on the idea of what this is gonna be like.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
I know people are really excited for the SNES Classic because it's Star Fox 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard about that.
Previously, never released.
Was that? Yeah, that was the one that wasn't released in the US.
Like,
now,
it's like a new Star Fox game.
Never
it's gonna look
it.
like garbage and play like garbage.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like you're gonna play it and be like, this is why it wasn't released in the US. Like,
and like if they put out a new Star Fox game that was developed today and it was a platformer, whatever, or a side scroller or whatever, that one's actually
it's like Rails.
Yeah, it's like a Rails shooter. It'd probably be okay, but like this is a really old game, so mechanically it's probably not going to play well. And,
good for VR. Maybe.
I don't know.
The look you gave. All right.
Last thing, just real quick. I don't want to like bring the morale down, but I was definitely bummed out when Chester from Linkin Park died.
Oh wow.
That whole thing was definitely saddening because I know like we grew up a lot listening to Linkin Park,
playing games.
Playing a lot of games.
Skate.
Yeah, we'd always have Linkin Park on the background, and I know they get a lot of crap now because their style has just changed so much over the past few years, where it's like not even them.
There's like no denying their influence on like that early 2000s.
Oh yeah,
genre,
that whole like new metal where it's like I don't know. It was definitely some good stuff.
That hybrid.
I remember back in like 5th and 6th grade, they like bump like Meteora and stuff in the gym. Like we'd have gym and stuff, playing games, always playing Numb. Yeah, those were good times. So hearing that he committed suicide was definitely sad.
You still hear those songs pop up on the radio too.
Yeah.
Like if you ever turn the radio on.
Yeah, in the end, it's still on the radio.
Yeah, definitely.
It's crazy.
I saw like the day after he died, like their Spotify like skyrocketed in terms of like listens and stuff like that.
I listened to it immediately when you texted me.
Yeah.
It was in Hybrid Theory.
And I saw like a lot of their older stuff, like Reanimation, that album.
I like that too.
I love that album. It's just like they do all these remixes with like other like rappers, with other people. Like Jonathan Davis from Korn is on one of the songs. The dude from Stain's on one of those songs. So it's real different mixes, but it all just sounds so good together. And I still listen to that like all the time. It's just definitely a bummer. Big influence on us growing up. And the whole thing, you see the whole thing with Yahoo? That I thought was really shit. Like Yahoo itself has just been shit the past few years. And there was this big thing where the day after his wife went to Twitter, and I mean, I'm still 100% convinced she was hacked.
Oh.
But it's just like, all right, now's the time for me to come out and say that I've been cheating on Chester with Mike Shinoda. this. And they said like in the tweet like this is not a hack, and like I was only in it for the money.
Yeah.
And then after that she was like, yeah, I told him to do it because no one would care. And Yahoo's like, oh, this is like she tweeted this. Let's write an entire story on it. And it's like obviously because the tweets were deleted right after. Mm-hmm. I think Yahoo was pretty shitty to go and write an entire story on it.
I didn't even see that.
I mean, that's like
good. Yeah.
That's just internet journalism, like clickbait type of stuff.
Yeah,
that's of course someone's gonna
get people on you. Yeah,
about that.
That's just weird that like Yahoo, like it's not Google.
Well, they need the views,
it's like
I know that.
but like you go to like Google.com, it's like here's Google and then search bar, that's it. But you go to like Yahoo.com, it's like ads, pages, all sorts of things just like on their home screen. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I feel like I opened up a newspaper. So.
Any new music taste lately or anything? I know like Tyler the Creator's had his new album. We've been talking about that.
It's really good.
Which
it's
we do
like really different. Yeah. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Do you guys listen to anything new?
No, I've been listening to a lot of old.
Yeah.
I've listened to this dude called Andy Schauf.
Okay.
He's just like a songwriter. He writes really descriptive songs, like narration style. Mm-hmm. And he has this album called The Party, and it's just literally about a party, but it's like has like these awkward characters, and it's just like about him like standing outside before people get there, just like smoking cigarettes and like feeling real uncomfortable, and like it's just like really detailed and like paints a really cool picture, and like the music's also just really good. So
that's cool.
I've been really into him.
I listen to I don't know why, but lately I've listened to a lot more like early 2000s, like late 90s hip hop. There's this one guy, Aesop Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been really big into him.
Nerd rap, right? Isn't he like kind of one of those guys? Like with like Del Funky Homo Sapien.
Yeah,
stuff? Like he's in that.
Yeah. His song "Labor" was on like Tony Hawk 1, I believe, or maybe like even 2.
Okay.
Which is I don't know. I like the whole just like late 90s hip hop where it's just I don't know. I've listened to him for like the past like 5 months straight, and it's all just his older stuff from like 2001 and stuff like that. But
have you listened to Deltron? Yeah. 3030? That's a sweet album.
Yeah, the Mastermind and stuff. Yeah, I'm big into that. But yeah, I think it's about time to wrap it up then.
Cool.
That's probably like a good like hour and 20 minutes. So hope you guys dig this. Again, like we want to do this more frequently. It's just hard because we don't all live together. We used to do audio podcasts back in like the first like semester of college when we come home for breaks and stuff. Yeah. We did like a good amount of those. But if you guys like this, definitely let me know because I watch video podcasts all the time and I always like listen to them also. And give us a good name because it's been Random Radio Show because that's just like what the podcast name was back in the day. But we can't think of anything good. Yeah. So if you guys have an awesome name out there, we'll definitely take it from you. If you don't mind.
Do you want to talk about our potential consistency?
Yeah, so we
schedule?
do. If this does well, I would like we talked about maybe doing it like once a month. Coming out, meeting here, doing this. I love the space and stuff, which is cool. And maybe even, you said like bi-weekly or something like that for like an audio podcast or something. Maybe even like make it weekly if it does well.
Yeah, I'll do either of those.
Yeah, so if you guys like it, like I said, definitely let me know. And there's a lot of like new viewers to this because the last time I did one was forever ago. So let me know what you guys think.
When this comes out, I suggest put like a Twitter poll and then put it in the description. Is that a thing you can do?
These should probably do something like straw poll or something like that.
Okay, yeah, all right. Just saying. Cool. Cause I'm pumped about it because this was actually really fun. I enjoyed coming out here, hanging out.
Yeah.
Because we're visiting, Frank and I are visiting these two fellas over here and having a good time, exploring the city and
So it's our first like legit kind of set here.
Yeah.
Hope it looks good.
We went hard. Like,
I think it will.
We all do our own thing, like have other jobs and stuff. So now we are finally at a point where we have all our own stuff that we can like contribute to this, production. I guess we call it. It's great. I am having a blast.
Yeah.
So.
Good stuff. All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up. Like I said, I'll put most like the stuff we talked about. There's any like links. I'll try to put them in the description, like time codes and stuff like that. I'll put our Twitter in the description and stuff. But all right. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And hopefully we'll see you next time soon.